Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what is the 9th round here for the FRL 100% season. Yeah, as it is one of my favourite tracks and my home track for tonight's race at Silverstone. It is supposed to be projected to be a nice and dry race, something we haven't seen for quite some time here. But ironically, it's at Silverstone, which is something is not very usual not to have rain, apart from what we saw in 2021, where we had probably the best weather for a race in actual F1. So we do wait for one-shot qualifying to start. I do apologise on advance already. I've been on comms all day pretty much, so my voice is starting to feel it, but hopefully this is going to be a good one. Plus, I've redone all of my streaming in terms of audio, so hopefully now audio will sound a tiny bit better, a bit more crisper, and hopefully you don't hear me breathe. So that's all some stuff to come. As you see my fans are into chat, welcome in, mate. Good to see you. Good luck to you tonight. Saying Dream Machine Racing Queen, you make my heart beat. My heart. Oh, okay. I just realised that's the intro song. I only know that because I only hear the first five words, and then I then I mute it because I get annoyed with it. But we go on to one-shot qualifying here as we are already on board. As we do see already Nick F1 retiring from the session from the start, but we go on board now with Specky Cabbage, who was a car that's had some bad luck recently. Some you could say projected to be in first for quite a bit of time, but we do see Crossfire is back in the McLaren. He hasn't been back for some time here. Crossfire retiring after round 2, but has came back to take the McLaren seat once again. We do see it's going to be another battle between the two cars in the McLaren and the Red Bull, as we saw on early into the season. Obviously, Josh Rose and Crossfire being very, very close in terms of position during the first 2 races. We do see as well a new name starting to occur on our leaderboards, currently in P4. That is going to be a new name for the Ferrari seat, as we do have a reserve being kicked in for the day of Joe Mollers. It's good to see him racing finally. It has been about 9 races until he's actually been able to race. So it's definitely about patience here, because it is quite a demanding and populated server, this at 100%. There are a few other new people as well. One taken, I believe it's going to be William Talbot C, as it doesn't seem William is in today. So we do see there's only been 2 retirements so far, as we do see now Josh Rose coming across the line to sit at 125.1, which seems to be pole position for quite a distance there. I'm pretty sure we only saw 2 25s there, I believe, and that was a 125.1 by Josh Rose, and then I think it was also Crossfire saying a 125.3, but it's actually quite a close grid here tonight. For an 100% race, this is what you like to see, all top 5 being split by just 0.5 of a second. Let's also see him though as well. Wow, that's actually quite close there between the 2 drivers of Finn and Joel Mollers. 2 of the newer drivers here saying a 125.495 and then a 125.498. So they're very, very close between each other there. Exactly 3,000 of a second between them both in their qualification times. Hopefully there's more to come into the race between these two. Hopefully it does show quite a bit of promise between them. Going further down, the slowest time we've seen here today is a 127.5, which is still got a good lap though. 2.4 seconds off the lead time there. So there is quite a big time difference from P1 to P last, I'm pretty sure you could call it. So wait to go on for the start of this race. We do have this waiting time for the Saabs to be loaded. That is from about nowish, but that isn't too bad here as we now wait for them to start doing the Saabs. What we can do, as we did this last time, so you can see who's going on which tyre, but it seems today everyone is going on those soft tyres, apart from one person, Nick F1, the South African driver, going on those hard tyres. But we also see now 1980 what? No, that's not World Cup. That is Swinney going on the medium tyres as well. But that seems to be the only 2 people who aren't on other sorts of tyre sets there. So that is going to be interesting there in terms of positions and in terms of what we see in pit stops. If this continues, as we do also now see 1980s Wildcat going on those mediums as well, it could be quite a few stops, but obviously we do always see the issues of safety cars, which I really do like safety cars, to be honest, because safety cars does bring more interest towards the commentary aspect of racing, because especially when it goes, we do have probably a relatively big grid here for tonight. Me taking one spot up in the server. So there is a max of 21 cars, and I believe we have 20 cars here tonight, which going for an F1 season already on the 9th round, that's pretty good to see. So many drivers are still in. Obviously, there's still quite a few reserves, so it's good to see that the grid will always be practically full. Obviously, it's just me tonight. I'm your commentator for the FRL 100% season. I'm Alex Newman, also known as Aces in the Discord. I am a freelancer commentator here for FRL and various other leagues, and hopefully you might have heard me on Thursday night on the Pro-Am Championship, or now what it's called is the Intimidate A for GT3. Hopefully maintaining our position, but we do now wait. It does seem we are still not close to green just yet. It seems we're still waiting for a few players to continue building their setups, or just waiting for them to come back. Could have just, it's a long race to be fair. It's going to be closer to about, I think it's an hour and 40 or so of racing here tonight, so quite a relatively long race here. So safety cars will make quite a big factor into this race and bring the field back together, and that is something that I do hope we see at least 3 times, maybe more, because safety cars do bring good action. But a track like Silverstone, even though we have seen some quite nasty crashes here in the past with Max Verstappen's crash and then Joe Grenouille's, it's quite a relatively easy track to go side by side with. It's a wide track and there's a load of runoffs. So safety cars won't be an issue here. And if I can only think of a safety car, it would only be for going onto the first corners of Vale, where every car will probably be piling 3 wide and just trying to dash to get as many positions as they possibly can do into that first corner, as it's been quite a while now. I'm not sure what's happened in terms of this now. I'm hoping it's all going smoothly. I'm going to quickly check in the F1. So we do now see we are going green here, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, as we are now not green just yet, but we are now green, as we do see no one gets the greatest start there. It does seem, no, the McLaren of Crossfire gets a good start, but we also do see Josh Rose being able to get a good start, but it's not going to be as good as Crossfire's, as we do now see Josh is going to be able to go as we go further back, and we see there's so many people off already, and there's going to be a safety, well, not a safety car, but there's already a yellow flag going further down into grid. But going back on board with the leader, we do see Crossfire, who was originally the full-time McLaren seat, who is now under pressure from Josh Rhodes behind him, going on to hang straight, going through now Luffield and Woodcott. There is going to be a virtual safety car. Not sure who crashed 52 laps into this race. The first lap is going to be under safety car conditions, so this could give us a repeat on what this race could be like. A virtual safety car usually doesn't take that long. It's usually half a lap or so, as we will see when the virtual safety car does go green again. But as we're so young into this race now, we will see this is a good opportunity for some of these cars to actually regain. So do you see we are actually back green and racing again, as Crossfire was able to get a good start going through. Mike Beckett's now going on to hang us straight. He is being able to keep it. Chapel Straight, sorry, but we do see he's able to keep and maintain P1 for now, as that is a new camera angle I don't think I've ever seen on F1. But going further back, we do see there's no one actually battling just yet for position. We do see now it is going to be the 2 Mercedes being closer and closer with each other. But it does seem, no, Candice is going to be under a bit of pressure here from a driver we have seen quite a few times here. There's going to be bids in the Aston Martin all over the back of him going into Vale. Doesn't go for the move just yet. Probably the smart idea. They're both on those medium tyres, which will be quite an advantage to both of them. So there's not really, it's really just even playing field between both of them. It's all down to setup and how much downforce they're actually using between them both. No one can have that DRS just yet, because we haven't surpassed that 3rd lap of racing just yet. But we do see Bids will have that slight advantage of that slipstream, but it doesn't seem to be working. He isn't actually in the slipstream just yet, but going in to Luffield, it does seem Bids is able to get past for now. Are we going to see any sort of retaliation here from Candidates? It doesn't seem we are. Bids is able to get past quite smoothly and efficiently in there to try and now attempt to attack his teammate for P5 of HR is who we haven't actually seen on this F1 calendar just yet, but we do go further down. We see Mafandro, the other Aston Martin, currently in P14, looking to put some pressure here on Ivy in the Williams, taking what would have been Di Miles' seats, I believe, as he is not with us today. We do see Mafandro is able to try catch up with Williams. He is definitely a more than capable driver to get past him here, but we do see going on to Chapel Straight, he is able to go and will gain quite a bit of time between them both. It's not going to be enough just yet for him. Going into chicane now, he is going to brake later, which is going to allow him to get past. We do see already Ganders going into pits to try and get the undercut on the rest of the drivers, because we haven't seen a safety car just yet. So we do see now the DRS has been enabled, but what we do see is it's cloudy. It's very, very cloudy. If we do see rain during this race, is a potential. We haven't seen, well, actually, yes, we have. We've seen rain in the last race, actually, thinking about it. I was just trying to think of that there, but we do see now Ivy going side by side there with Joe Mollers. Both of these new drivers trying to get past each other. Joe Mollers trying a tiny bit of pressure on the Williams. They do go side by side now, going into the back straight before Laffield. Does seem to let him go there a tiny bit. Does seem he's being able to still, well, he's actually losing a bit of time actually to Joe Mullers after that position was made, but we do see now Bids, who was able to take the position that we were predicting he was going to take from the Mercedes of HR. So his pace is starting to be quite outstanding here. I'm not sure if his ERS usage is more than some of the other cars here, but we do see now he is actually being able to catch up with Brandt in the Haas. These two drivers have been quite known for their rivalry in the past of the season now, but we do see the two drivers of Josh Rose currently getting past Crossfire for position. We do see there's a bit of a juke move there from Crossfire to try to regain the lead of this race, but it hasn't worked for him just yet. These two cars all over the back of each other, but we do now see the DRS is going to be absolutely crucial here for him going through. This is going to be going through Wellington straight. He does get it going through Luffield. There's going to be contact between both of them. It's going to be Josh Rose going back into the lead there, and we also see he's going to lose another position there from Fakey Cabbage. Can he keep the position? Yes, he can. He goes back into P2, so he is able to keep that position, but he's going to be under even more pressure now to try keep second place, let alone going into Corps and trying to keep and regain first place. But at the moment, he's probably under more priority of trying to get past Josh Rose as quickly as he can, because with that DRS and slipstream going through Hanger Straight, he'll probably be able to get this done pretty quick now. Going on to Hanger Straight, he is going to get the DRS. It is going to be super effective. He dives for the inside line there. Now he is able to get it going through Stowe. There's lock up there going through Vale, but it isn't going to be too bad for him just yet. He's able to keep it and start making a tiny bit of a gap for himself now. About a 4-tenth gap between P1 and P2. And then P2 to P3 is about the same, about 2.5 to 3 tenths now. So they have got quite a relatively similar gap between them both. We do go back on board with Kevin now, trying to attack his teammate for position. The Alpha Tower is P10 and P9 currently. It does seem Kevin might be the faster driver in this scenario. He is able to just be all over the back of Swinney's car with those hard tyres as well. So in the next few laps or so, as we do here, he gets the DRS. He goes whizzing past, going on to the Wellington straight as he just gets past in time before going into Luffield. And he gets to regain the racing line as well. But we do see going further back as well. P15, we did just see IOV get past Finn for position as well. That was something we did see quite a fresh overtake into Luffield, I believe, and Woodcott. He is going to have that slipstream now going into Maggotts Beckett's. He will go side by side with him. Can be quite a risky move, but he gets the move done there for now. Moves himself up into 14th there. Finn usually being quite a higher position now. I'm not sure if he qualified or not. We do see, looking on the positions, he was very high up. It seems he lost 11 positions since the start of this race. Gandis losing 12. He did pit early, though. We did see Gandis, but the biggest winner so far of this race in terms of positions we go into the 6 laps does seem to be Tyrant King with 12 positions gains, followed closely by Nick F1 in the Williams, gaining 11 positions since the start of this. Only one person getting a penalty so far, that is Bids, as we do see him counting the track. That's what that penalty would be for. Usually, as we know, go on board with Bids as well. Once again, he's going to be able to get that slipstream, but it's a huge slipstream change, so there's not going to be any sort of improvement by any of the drivers because they all are under the same advantage here. But we can see Josh Rose is going to be under so much pressure from the rest of the grid because of this, as we do see he will be under all of this pressure. But we do see Crossfire has lost that position to Specky Cabbage before the end of Woodcott, it seems, but we do see he's actually losing a tiny bit of pace here, Crossfire, towards Specky for position. He is able to try catch up a tiny bit, though, going through Maggots and Beckett, going on to what is going to be Hanger Straight before Stowe and Vale. Do you see, though, there is actually a fluctuation in position here further back as well. We do see there's going to be Bids and Brandon. There was a very, very momentary yellow flag. There is going to be another yellow flag for Sector 1. Not sure what's happened there, but it has cleared up there. But these two drivers, again, very, very rowdy with each other. But it does seem Brand has lost the position to Bids, as I predicted it to happen. It seems Bids' pace here tonight seems to be very, very rapid compared to what we've usually seen. Bids has had quite a fluctuated season in terms of results so far. We did see in the last race of Brazil, I believe it was. No, not Brazil. It was Jeddah last race, but Brazil. We did see in Sao Paulo, I believe, he had the greatest qualifying session just to bin it onto the final corner of qualifying, and he just lost all of those positions he could have possibly not had to fight through into the race. And I believe he did get taken out during the race as well, so it's very unlucky there for him. Hopefully that doesn't happen for himself. Moving on for his teammate, though, currently in P13, looking to put a bit of pressure on someone's lucky number of P12, currently Jay Hartnell in the other Haas, as we do see is both Aston Martins and both Haas fighting with each other at the moment, going through Corpse. It's all about, can you take it flat and how long can you take a flat for? It does seem like it's going to be a track warning for Mafandrew there. He is on those soft tires, so he will start losing performance very, very quickly now, especially with how tire reliant this track actually is compared to what I believe Jay Hartnell is on. As we do see, he gets the slipstream and the DRS almost crashing into the back of him there, going in to Stowe, but he is able to keep it. But there's going to be a bit of retaliation between them both. There is going to be a bit of contact as well, but we do see now Mafandrew stays in the lead of this, as we do see that is a 1 and 3. Is this a safety car? No, this is not a safety car, but there was a bit of an issue there. It does seem though Mafandrew losing the position to Jay Hartnell and also Finn there, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but I'm hoping he might be able to get these two positions back, as there is still a Sector 2 yellow flag. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Crossfire is starting to make a bit of a gap, but I say that and then the DRS is immediately eliminating it, and we do see now going into the end of Wellington Straight, going into Luffield and Woodcott. He is past their Bids in the Aston Martin. Can we see some retaliation back from Crossfire? If they are able to keep in this close of a gap with each other, the DRS is just going to be ruining their chances of trying to create a gap with each other, unless there is some sort of safety car. Then the entire grid can actually make a huge factor of this. But we do see Bids, it's going to go very wide there. We do see Bids has that 3-second penalty already. He doesn't want to get 6 seconds, but we do see Bids going and trying to take the entire of the racing line, which he is able to do, which does catch Crossfire off guard a tiny bit. And it has caused this gap to actually increase quite a bit. But we do now see the DRS is going to be significant here for him. But is it going to be enough? No, it's not going to be enough. He does a bit of a juke move, but it is not going to be enough for Crossfire to get past Bids for now. But Bids will not make it easy for him just yet. We do also see behind him, we do see Brent as well in the Haas, very, very close behind him, followed then by Nick F1 as well. Nick F1 having his highest race so far, currently up in P4. The Williams, do you see there's a position change there. Josh Rose going into the pit, so that is why we don't see Josh Rose in the higher order right now. He has lost quite a bit of positions because of that. But that is usually quite a good thing, though, because he might be able to catch with that undercut. Sometimes it won't work. It's always a promise, but we do see going on board with the other McLaren of Jackie Gabbana, the original iconic duo for McLaren, back and reunited for round 9 here at Silverstone. We do go on to Wellington Straight. Now he has that DRS, and that DRS is going to be so youthful, and he's already so close, so he's going to be able to create quite a big gap before the end of Wellington Straight going into Luffield. But we also see as well Ivy and the Williams also trying to get past at any given moment if either one of the Haas or the McLaren makes some sort of mistake there. But we do see going into P14, it does seem, no, there is a lot of pressure here for Jay Hartnell with the Williams behind him of what does seem to be Ivy, as I was just mentioning earlier. He is actually going to lose quite a bit of time though, Ivy, and it's going to be quite isolated between all of these three, quite distanted. But we do see now going into P9, it's going to be a bit of a position change once again. Spicky Cabbage going for the switchback though, going through Stoke. He's going to be able to get it, but there's going to be contact between both of them. They go side by side. There's multiple contact touches there between them both. We do see Swinney's going to try dive once again going through Bell. It's not going to work just yet, but we do see the bit of a lack of traction there from Specky Cabbage, and that is going to cause Swinney to get back up into P8. Some great racing there from there. I'm not sure how Specky Cabbage might react to that, but we will see later. I'm probably assuming he's shaking his head right now or something along the lines of that, because I don't think he would have thought that was as clean as it might have been. But that was some great racing there from those two, as we do now see if we keep an eye out with those two. So we do see it's going to be a big lunge there from Brown to try and get this position of P2 away from Crossfire as he tries to go for a switchback going through Woodcock. It isn't able to work. He almost spins out there with the oversteer, just getting on the throttle, trying to be too throttle hungry there, but he does now stay in P3, and he's actually created a bit of a gap because of that, and that is going to be about a 3.5, nearly 4/10 gap between them both. But that is not going to be a good thing for Brand, but hopefully with the DRS he is able to catch up going into Hanger Straight. At the moment we do see he also has the DRS as well, but we see Crossfire makes a bit of a mistake there going through the ends of Beckett's, but they do go side by side. Once again, they have the similar speed because they both have the DRS, but we do see Crossfire is going to keep his position for now, but we do see he's all over the rear of him now. Brand going into Vale. They go side by side. It does seem it is going to be an advantage to Crossfire. He has the inside line going into the first part of the chicane and breaks later, which does cause him to stay in the reigning position of P2 for now. So in fact, he has been able to create about a 5/10 gap because of that. Seems that did catch Brand off guard quite a bit, and they have been able. He is trying to just, because of this though, actually, just thinking about it now, Bids has actually been able to create a 1-second gap, and this is going to cause Crossfire to be very, very vulnerable because he does not have the DRS, but it does seem he will have that DRS. I'm not sure how he has the DRS because he's not within a second anymore, but I'm assuming just before Wellington Straight, sorry, he was able to have that 9/10 radius, but now he's going to be very, very vulnerable, as because of these two battling, it is going to cause Bids to actually create a bit of a gap for himself. But we do see the Bran flying with the DRS that he has because of it going onto Hamilton Straight. That's not Hamilton Straight, sorry, that is the GT starting grid. But we do now see Brand is able to go through Magnus Beckett pretty nicely with no sort of danger or threat from Crossfire behind him or Nick F1. But this is where we will see Crossfire again retaliate for position, because we do see going through the end of Hanger Straight, he isn't going to be able to catch up enough though to Brand for position. This is where it usually starts. They do start to lose a bit of time between each other, and that is going to cause them both to lose their positions and their DRS and all of their assists that can help them overtake. But we do go on board with Finn starting to climb up the leaderboard again after his nasty accident, I believe, going on to the first corner. He is able to keep it for now in P11. He wants to try get P10 from the Mercedes of HR, but at the moment it doesn't seem HR is going to make it easy for him to get past going into Wellington Straight. You see as well, P7 is also going to cause them both to go side by side going through Wellington Straight. He is going to be able to get past Joel Morris on Tyrant King, and then he goes through Luffield risk-free. We do see once again these two going side by side. It does seem Finn will have the inside line going through Luffield, and HR goes down into P11. Is there going to be some sort of retaliation because going through the GT start finish straight, there is going to be DRS, which is going to be a bit of a assist here for Finn, but we do see there is going to be Tyrant King getting a 3-second penalty along with Swinney as well, and Mean Man Moody. I'm not sure when all of those were appeared, but that is going to be quite a factor for this race as well. We haven't seen any sort of safety cars just yet, but we do see now Crossfire trying to regain his position of P2, but we do see it's not going to work just yet. Brandt sticks it along the inside going through Stowe, which is going to leave Crossfire for the dust at the moment, but we will see Crossfire probably getting it going onto the Hamilton straight because of that DRS, but we do go on board with him now. He's not going to be able to catch up. The DRS isn't going to be activated on this straight because it's not a big enough straight. We do see him. He does lose a lot of time though. Loses control of his McLaren there, but he does continue in P3 though, which is all you can ask for really. But this is where we're going to see these medium tires starting to make a drop off if they haven't already, but it does seem that there's also been a bit of a position change between these two, as we do see Swinney and Specky Cabbage once again. These two have been racing for quite a while, and the racing is quite good to see. We do Specky Cabbage's tires are going to start losing a lot of grip now, but we do see the DRS is going to be active for Swinney. He's going to be able to fly past before Luffield, and that is going to cause him to go up in position. Swinney now into P8 once again, and Specky Cabbage staying in P9, but we do see there's a bit of a mistake there. That is going to cause Specky Cabbage to almost drive alongside with him going into Corpse. In fact, he's going to get the move done before Corpse there. That was a big, well, it's the smallest mistake which caused a big consequences here for him. He's also going to see Finn as well behind him, almost trying to look for a move as well. So he's going to be in this. This is actually quite a good spot to be in the middle of a field, because you get the DRS behind as well. We do see now this is where we're going to see Specky Cabbage could be very vulnerable going through Stowe. He gets the move done pretty quickly and efficiently, but we do see going further down, though these two drivers are going to be still fighting for position. Specky Cabbage getting the better drive through Vale, as we did see Finn was able to get P9 from Specky Cabbage. Specky Cabbage losing about 2 positions in the span of 1 lap there. Not the proudest of moments for him, I assume. As we do see the gaps are starting to increase quite rapidly here as we're on to lap 14 of this 52 lap around Silverstone. You see this where the DRS is going to be quite efficient here between these two. As we do see now Finn will have the DRS on Swinney to get that move done quite efficiently and effective before the end of Wellington Straight. Finn goes up to P8, Swinney going down to P9. Finn trying to redeem himself after the start of the race he has had going up into P8. This just shows you that his determination to try get further and further up in the order is starting to take shape, as he is now into P8. He has went down from pretty much the back of the field. He's gained 6 positions since his little incident, so he is still five positions down, but he is going to be getting closer and closer to the top leaders. Jackie Cabana getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. So as we do now see, Swinney is starting to lose Finn here, so Finn's pace seems to be very strong. It's almost like Bid's pace as well, but Bid seems to be under a bit of pressure as well, because it does seem these two cars are in fact still within DRS range of each other, and it's the same with Crossfire as well. They're just trying to be consistent and hoping the other ones make a mistake, but we do see as well, as we did just see Jay Hartnell was able to get by Jackie Cabana for position, and we already see Jay Hartnell being able to create a ton of a gap between them both there, as Jay Hartnell goes up into P13 and Jackie Cabana goes down into P14. As well as that as well, we could see IV, the new Williams esports driver for this race, currently in P15, trying to stay in the DRS range of him as well. But P10 as well of Swinney trying to retaliate to get back on Specky Cabbage. He breaks a bit later. They're going through Woodcott. He does make a tiny bit of an issue there, as he does just gets in the throttle a bit too early to say the least, and it does cause him to lose quite a bit of time there. It's about a 5/10 loss he just made there going into Corsa. Now, hopefully he can regain all of that in DRS if he can stay within DRS range for that long of time. But at the moment, he is still losing quite a bit of time. But it does seem now going into Beckett's, he was able to gain just a fraction of the time, as hopefully that is going to help him with that DRS to gain quite a bit of time on Specky. But at the moment, the DRS isn't working at all. I'm not sure if he's using any ERS there. He still has 37% ERS left. But we are only in 16 laps deep into this race so far. Getting very, very close to the halfway stage of this race. 26 laps to be precise will be the halfway stage of this race. So 10 laps till that. Going through Albion Farm, he was able to gain quite a bit of time there. Josh Rose being able to set the fastest lap on those medium tyres now for 1:30.1. So it does seem Josh Rose's pace is still there. He's just not being able to make any positions so far. He is, though, wanting to try gain these positions as quickly as he can. He is probably begging for a safety car to appear to try and regain these positions as quickly as he can. But at the moment, there is starting to be some gaps starting to take place. But here, though, Joel Muller's starting to show quite good potential here as his teammate has to retire from the race. Currently in P6, putting a bit of pressure there on Kevin in the AlphaTauri. This is a bit of a DRS chain that is starting to form, but we do see Joel Mullers is able to get the better exit there going through Beckett. He is going to go for the inside line going through Stowe. He gets the move done there as well, as we do also see Crossfire Strikes was able to get the move done on Nick F1 as well after Nick F1 was getting the slipstream on him, which is just going to play a huge factor as well in terms of how unpredictable these top leaders currently are. But we do see Bids is being able to comfortably keep pole position, but we do see that 3-second penalty is going to play a huge factor for his end result. But on top of that as well, we also have the mandatory pit stop that they have to do, which is going to be at, well, any stage of the race, really. There is a pit window, I believe, but the pit window does have to see you change at least to one other compound of tires. So you can't get from mediums to mediums, soft to soft. You have to go to mediums, softs, mediums, hards, etc., etc. There has to be 2 different compounds for the mandatory pit stop to take place. You see the Crossfire starting to regain a bit of time now, and Brandt in the Haas to regain his silver podium step position. At the moment, he's not been able to gain a lot of time after going through sector 3. Now going into sector 3 in the next coming moments, he does have that DRS as well. But we do see Branwell has that DRS as well, but it doesn't seem he will have that DRS for much longer. Plus, I'm not sure how effective the DRS will be, because he won't have as strong, if he has any slipstream, compared to Crossfire. The sim is starting to take a bit of place now. Everyone's starting to settle down for the rest of the race, but it does seem these top 5 aren't starting to settle down. The rest of the grid aren't within DRS of each other, apart from Finn on Kevin. But it does seem the top 6 all are still within DRS range of each other, which still makes it very, very interesting for me, to say the least. We do see, though, as well, P3 being the amazing Crossfire in the McLaren, now trying to get closer, and he's ever so closer to regaining P2 here for himself. He is just within 2/10 here, so this could be quite interesting for him. And that DRS, can he get the better exit going through Beckett's? Yes, he can, but is it going to be so effective at the moment? It doesn't seem he is gaining any time, even with that slipstream so far. But he is able to gain just the fraction of time, about 200th of a second he was able to gain there, going through hanger straight now, but going into Vale, he does break a bit later, but we do hear a bit of a lock-up there from him. He's going to be all over the back of him, but he does now go side by side with him. Brandt being able to lose that position, unfortunately, to Crossfire, but do we see any sort of retaliation from the Haas driver? At the moment, we don't know, but it does seem Crossfire is able to keep that position, but for how long? We do go on to now Wellington Straight, which is the longest straight for Silverstone, and it is going to be a huge factor with the DRS, but we do also see Crossfire does have that DRS as well. Do see he is close though, Brand, but he's not going to be close enough to actually regain P2 in retaliation just yet, but we do go further down as well. We do see JR is under a lot of pressure as well from the throw of Joel Mullers, who we have seen so many times during this race here tonight, going through the GT start and finish line through Corpse. Crossfire getting a 3-second time penalty, so the top three do have that 3-second time penalty. So if Nick F1's being able to keep up with the rest of the grid, he is favoured to win this race, but we can see as well Joel Mullers behind him is also going to not make this easy for Nick F1, that's for sure, as we do see he does regain P4 now, going through Stowe with that DRS. He was able to keep it. We do see there's only about a 3/10 gap between P4 and 5. He is sweeping to try and break that slipstream. I'm not sure how effective that was going to be through Vale, because it's a very short straight. You're most likely good to do that through the longer straights like Hamilton Straight, Wellington Straight especially, as you can see him doing it a tiny bit there as well. But at the moment he is currently safely in P4, but because of that battling he has been doing with Nick F1, he has lost the pack a tiny bit. It's not too bad, but it's going to be a bit of a disadvantage hit for him now to keep P4, because he's not going to have as strong as a slipstream as we will see, let's say, Nick F1 does, as we do see he's got to be gliding past potentially Nick F1 going through Wellington Straight. We can see the two drivers who are currently battling with relatively similar tyre, where we do see Nick F1 has a very worn, nearly halfway worn front tyres there. They are both on those hard tyres with about 50% wear to the front tyres and a bit less on the rears. I believe it was about 38% between them both. Does seem though Brandt is actually going to try regain. At the moment it's not going to work, but we do see Crossfire is going to be under pressure. Is it going to be free wide? Yes, it is going to nearly be free wide there, as we also saw that seems to be Joel Mullers also trying to get involved for P3 here, but we do see Crossfire will have the inside line going through the first part of Vale, but it doesn't seem to work there. It does seem Brandt will regain his position going through the end of Vale, but we do see there is also going to be Joel Mullers as well on the inside, almost trying to get that position done, but we do see he's going to be able to get the position done on Crossfire. He sticks himself just behind of Brandt. Now he's going to be able to regain going up into P3 now. Can he try to get this move done on Brandt as well? At the moment we're not too sure. This is very interesting here. He goes for the inside line going through the hairpin before Wellington Straight. It's not going to work for him just yet, but we do see Brandt gets a very much worse line than Joel, but he gains a lot of time there. But with the slipstream now, we are actually going to see there's going to be retaliation once again from Crossfire going through Wellington Straight, now going through Luffield. He does just coast a tiny bit for position, but he is able to regain P3 there momentarily. But we do see there's going to be a bit of a mistake. He's able to go for the inside line there through Woodcott there, Joel Mullers, but it's not going to work just yet. It does seem the overspeed and the acceleration from Crossfire in his McLaren is greater than the Ferrari for now. He does do a bit of a juke move though going through Corpse. It's not going to work just yet for him. Everyone being in the same boat here in the top three with those even amounts of tyre age on those medium tyres. These top three are very unpredictable at the moment, all having those penalties as well. Could see Joel Mullers being the favourite to win this race on his hard tyres, so he is under the best favourite at the moment. He has the newer tyres, so his tyre performance is going to be better. It does seem he's going to be able to get very close there to Brandt, but it does seem we did see Crossfire was able to regain his position. So we do see there's going to be a bit of a comb disruption there from what seemed to be Brandt going into the pits to serve his mandatory pit stop. Same with Tyrant King going on to lap 22 now. He's going down as well. P9 is starting to make a bit of a move with Swinney. These two cars being at it again for P8 going through Vale. He is able to regain quite a bit of time there. We do see Swinney has that penalty as well, which is it seems like the majority of the grid has that 3-second penalty for track limits. So will it make much of a difference here? It will be served in the pits here, so that will make the pit stops a bit slower compared to what they would be, 3 seconds slower to be precise. But he is going to lose quite a bit of time here now. But we do see Bids still being able to have a comfortable lead at the moment to Crossfire. There was about a 2.4 second gap between P1 and P2. P2 being in Crossfire. Crossfire having a bit of pressure there from Joel Mullers, currently in P3, followed them by Nick F1 in the Williams. Then taking up the 5th position being Kevin in the AlphaTauri, followed them by Swinney in the other AlphaTauri, trying to put a bit of pressure on his teammate, but it's not working just yet because we do see Specky Cabbage in the Alpine is putting quite a bit of pressure on Swinney. There's been quite good racing between them both, to say the least. Then Josh Rose in the Red Bull, then taking P9. It's going to be Finn starting to redeem himself, but it does seem he lost the position to Josh Rose earlier. Then taking out the top 10 at the moment is going to be HR on the Mercedes. There is going to be a position change there. That's going to be Crossfire going into the pit. Same with Nick F1. That's going to put Joel Mullers into P2. That's because he's on those hard tyres, so he can go for a lot longer. But currently in P11, it's going to be Brand. He will be higher up sooner. He has done his mandatory pit stop so far. Tyres, he's on those soft tyres, which how good of an idea that is going to be. Swinney getting a 5-second speeding in pit lane penalty, which is going to be quite significant around a track like this and how close the field is actually being at the moment. We go further down, then Tyrant King and P12 in the other Alpine, then following it by Ivy in the unlucky number of 13, followed then by Mafandro in the Aston Martin. Rounding up top 15 now is going to be Jay Hartnell, now currently in P16. It's going to be Jackie Cabana in the McLaren. P17 going to be Don Fotherington in the Red Bull. Currently not in the greatest of positions for himself for now. He has lost quite a few positions. I believe he has lost 8 since the start of this race. Then going on to Gandis in P18, who's lost about, how many positions was it? 10 since the start of this race. And then rounding out the grid for tonight so far is Mean Man Moody in the other Alfa Romeo, who is also struggling on pace, seems a tiny bit. That is our grid here for tonight. It is quite a competitive grid, to say the least. Currently, I'm so surprised with Joel Muller's pace. I never doubted him. To be honest, I didn't really know who he was until the start of this race, but he seems to be showing such true pace here as we do see Bids goes into the pits now, meaning Joel Mullers is going to go into the pits. Is he going to be able to use his time effectively to try and gain quite a bit of time here compared to Bids coming out of the pits soon? He has to try gain about I think it's about a 10 or so second gap between him. But obviously Bids has that 3-second time penalty, which is going to play such a huge factor here for Joel Mullers to try and win this race. We do see Kevin being 13 seconds behind P1 now, which is going to be Joel Mullers. So that is going to be quite a comfortable lead here for Joel Mullers, to say the least. But we do see going down into P8, there's actually a bit of a battle going on once again. This is going to be Crossfire and Nick F1, the two rivals at the moment. We do see there's going to be a big lunge there from Nick F1. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Yes, he is. That was very sketchy from him, though. We do see Crossfire as well, also making a bit of a retaliation move as well, going for the inside line, going into the entrance of Wellington Straight. Is it going to work? Who's going to have the slipstream as well? It does seem Nick F1's going to have that slipstream going onto Wellington Straight. He's going to be able to absolutely cruise past Crossfire and possibly even get very close to the back of Tyrant King as well. At the moment, he's not going to be able to regain P6 just yet, but with the slipstream and the DRS he will gain now, he might be able to do it now, or just have to wait until Hangar Straight. At the moment, going through Corps, he's not being able to gain enough time to do that, and in fact he is actually starting to create a bit of a gap for himself between him and Crossfire because of this as well. These guys being in what was about net P1 and P2 with each other, this is going to cause both of these two drivers to lose a lot of time because they're battling with other drivers now who haven't pitted they haven't had to pit just yet because they're on those hard tires and they have to try use them as efficiently as they can. But we do now see with the DRS, we do see now Nick F1 going up into P6 now, trying to put a bit of pressure here on Bids being currently net P1, but how long can net P1 be for? Because Joel Mullers being able to have the advantage of Bids having that 3-second time penalty, which is going to be quite an issue for them, as we do see pit window is now open for lap 25 for soft tyres if anyone is going to go in this lap, we would see a few of the drivers potentially going into the pit this lap. At the moment, we don't see anyone just yet because I don't think anyone's located on track to be close enough for that. But Nick F1 actually losing quite a bit of time there to Bids. It's actually now gone to about a second or so, where we will see Bids actually starting to catch up with the top four of Bran, Josh Rose, Kevin, and the Joe Mullers. Josh Rose actually being able to play that, well, what he did do was that undercut pretty swiftly, as we do actually see there's going to be a bit of position change once again between these two drivers as Josh Rose goes up into P3 so far. But can we see any sort of retaliation here from Bran as he coasts a tiny bit going through back into Beckett? At the moment, it isn't going to be too bad for him, as he's just going to stay behind him for as long as he can. Now having that DRS as well, he's going to have this easy opportunity to be able to drive past so quickly. But at the moment, he didn't drive past as quickly as I thought he would. We can barely see him in the mirrors there. But now going through Stowe, he was able to create a bit of gap for himself. That should be a bit of a breathing space bubble for him there to go down to P6 as well. Nick F1 being able to regain quite a bit of time here to crossfire actually out of the session there. I'm not sure what's happened there. That is going to be a sector 1 and sector 3 yellow flag. If that's going to be a safety car, I'm not too sure. No one has slowed down just yet, so I'm assuming we are going to still be racing. If that's a rage quit, I'm not too sure. If that's an actual mechanical failure or that is a crash, I'm also not too sure. But we do still be in green, and we're not under safety car conditions just yet. So we do just wait for to see what happens with this safety car now. If there is going to be one, there's still a sector 1 yellow flag. There has been for about half a lap or so now. So we have now just hit exactly halfway into this race, and we're still quite unpredictable on who could win this race. At the moment, it could be in favour of Joel Mullers, who's actually done the best race of his life so far, actually being able to gain up to P1 so far, gaining 3 positions since the start of the race, which, think of it, isn't that many, but how he's been able to do it is actually so astonishing, as we also now see bids all over the back of Josh Rose for position. Is he going to be able to hold it there, Josh Rose? At the moment, he does seem to be able to. Going through farm, is he going to have the entire line? No, he lacks a bit of security there, and it is going to be bids being able to get back up before the entrance of Wellington Straight. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation? Yes, there will be from Josh Rose. Josh Rose actually losing 2 positions there from driver of Nick F1 and bids, but can we see the slipstream and the DRS helping him out at all? No. Getting to the end of Wellington Straight, there was no sort of actual progress there from the Red Bull driver of Josh Rose. Going further down as well, we do see Jay Hartnell was able to go up into P13. Does seem now Gandis, no, it's IV, sorry, has came into pits. Well, going up as well, currently Sweaty in the AlphaTauri in P11, trying to fight for those P10 and rounding up himself. P10 is quite a respectable place to be in for a race, as we also see as well. There is actually a bit of battling happen between Nick F1 and Biz. Seems Nick F1 had quite a good advantage with the slipstream and DRS coming to the end of Hangar Straight, but he wasn't able to get past. In fact, he's losing a lot of time here going through sector 1 now, and it was the end of sector 3 as well, going through farm. And Abby, he is able to gain a tiny bit of time again under braking, but how well is that actually going to materialize? It does seem he does in quite a bit of time going through to that, but now Bids has his main focus on trying to get past Bran and Kevin for position. But this is where they need to be a bit careful, because there's a 15-second gap now between P1 and P2, and if they fight for as long as they have been, that's only going to get bigger and bigger, and that's going to lead to Joel's chance of winning this race to become bigger and bigger as well, which obviously Bids does not want, because he wants to win another race into the season, and the rest of the drivers don't want as well because they want to win the race as well. But at the moment, Joel Muller's going on for his debut race for the FRL 100, could potentially see his first win as well, but we still have just under half of this race left to go, so we won't be saying anything just yet until we know. But we do see now Bids going for the overtake of two drivers into one corner, going on to Hanger Straight. He is able to go through Stowe, and having the inside line as well, he was able to go through two positions there with the DRS of both of those two drivers. That's very unfortunate for the Haas and Kevin, but there's going to be still a bit of retaliation here from Bran, but Bran isn't going to be able to keep it up with the inside of the second section of Vale, as we do now see Bids is going to be able to go up into P2 provisionally, as he's able to try do his task again to try carve that time between him and Joel Mullers, which is now 15.5 seconds, which would be a lot longer if he didn't have the luck of being able to overtake those two cars into the Hanger Straight. But we do see now Nick F1 has his task to get past Kevin again for position as we go on to Wellington Straight, getting towards the end of it, going through Lovefield. He is able to get that move done quite easily and swiftly with that DRS and slipstream. In terms of how much ERS he has left, he still has 41% of his ERS left, so he does still have a significant amount of it left, so that isn't going to be an issue just yet. We still have well, close to about 20 or so laps of racing. Does seem Nick F1 starting to lose time to Bran and Bidge here. It seems the DRS won't be too helpful for him here going through Hanger Straight, going through Stowe. He does gain a bit of time on the braking, but it isn't going to be enough for him to actually make any sort of progress there. But we do see Josh Rose trying to put a bit of pressure here on the Alpine driver of Tyrant King as well. These two drivers we haven't seen together on track too much, but for battling, hopefully this is going to be quite a good battle between them both. Josh Rose having the fastest lap of the race, I believe, or is that will change for him? As I will just quickly check that. No, he has lost the fastest lap of the race, but in terms of who has the fastest lap, it is actually still going to be Tyrant King with the 129.6 compared to Josh Rose's 130.1, which used to be the purple lap, but now we do see that has been stolen by Nick F1 with a 128.6, so that is quite an impressive improvement between them both there. Does seem, in terms of who has stopped and who hasn't, Joel Mullers has not stopped. Same with Kevin in P5, and that is the only two people who hasn't stopped. Gandis making 3 stops since the start of this race. It's actually quite impressive to say the least. Not sure why he's done that. If it is, it looks like he has just came in for another stop, which is going to be that third stop we just witnessed, and that is going to be him going onto the new medium tyres, currently with 0 laps age on them. Going down again, do you see the slipstream is starting to help HR out once again on Jay Hartnell. Jay Hartnell has his sights on Jackie Cabana, the other McLaren driver, currently in P12. Does seem, I'm not even sure what happened there for HR. HR losing a lot of time. He seems to be lagging a tiny bit there. He has just lost quite a bit of time because of something there, but we do see now Kevin has came into the pit, so there's only one person who hasn't hitted so far, and that is going to be Joe Mullers, who we do see Bids is actually shaving about 2 seconds since we last spoke about it, so that is quite improving. As we do see what was HR leaving the session there, so hopefully he can come back, as we did see that was him lagging out there, so hopefully he can come back. I'm assuming that potentially could have been a Wi-Fi issue here, but Specky Cabbage on Finn. Can Finn keep P7, or are we going to see Specky Cabbage continue in P8 or go even progress into P7? At the moment we can't tell, but with the slipstream and the DRS going on to Wellington Straight, he will be able to make a bit of an advantage for him, being able to get quite close to the rear of his car, but he won't be close enough to actually go for some sort of move unless we see Finn make some sort of mistake going through Luffield and Woodcut. At the moment they both seem to be taking it quite tidily, and it is still going to be Finn in P7 and Specky Cabbage into P8, but there is going to be a bit of a DRS assist here for Swicky Cabbage going through the GT start finish straight. Sorry, that's the, yeah, that is the right one. You see as well going into P11, there's actually a bit of a retaliation to happen here. Seems Mafandro in P10 under a bit of pressure from Kevin, who has just came out from the pits. You do see now Mafandro going to lose his position because of the DRS from Kevin as we go into Stowe. It does seem they're still going to be side by side, but actually no, it does seem Kevin is able to regain P10 to try to regain as many positions as he can since he goes into pit. That being one now taking him into P10. Can he regain his position on his teammate of FRO Sweeney in the other AlphaTauri? Moment he needs to try and gain about a 3.1 second gap down to 0 seconds as quickly as he can, as we have 20 laps left of racing to be exact. We're nearly getting closer to the team numbers now, so there isn't too much time for, as we do see Ganders has retired from the session. That is going to be sector 2 and 3 safety car. I'm not sure. I think that might have been a rage quit. That, yeah, I believe that will have been a rage quit because he was last by quite some mile and he had to keep stopping for some reason. So I think he has had to retire from the race. But we have seen only 3 retirements since the start of this race, being Ganders, who we just saw earlier, well, the previous one, and then it's Crossfire in the McLaren and the 1980s Wildcat who started. As we do see now, Joel Mollers has came into the pits for some soft tires for the rest of the race. That is going to be quite a good idea for those soft tires. He has lost quite a bit of time and positions because of coming into the pits. He needed to pit though for FRI regulations. But he comes out in P6 now. He has a lot of big task ahead of him to try shave about 11-second gap down to 0. It's actually more like a 14-second gap with that 3-second between Nick F1 and Tyrant King there. But can he do it? These soft tyres will give him such a big advantage compared to the rest of the drivers who are on probably mid-age tyres, or we can't even see Josh Ruse on those 24-lap mediums. So he will start dropping off that pace incredibly quickly. He'll probably lose about 5/10 or so per lap, which is quite significant thinking about it. We'll keep a track on it, but at the moment he is losing quite a bit of time here. Even without this DRS and stuff, he's just going to be losing so much time all around. But we can see it's also going to be battling as well for the rest of the positions. That is another factor to play for this race as well. But we see now Tyrant King under pressure from Josh Rose. It does seem he does just lift though to just keep his position. It does seem Josh Rose is going to go into the pits actually to actually pit once again for position for tires, but we do see that it's going to be a 5-second penalty for Josh Rose for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be quite a major major penalty there for him that will be applied during his pit stop. Now, actually, will it be applied during his pit stop? No, it will not be applied during his pit stop. It will be applied to the end of the race, as we do see Swinney getting an 8-second penalty, which I only assume is going to be from track cuts and then the speeding in the pit lane. But we'll go in terms of order of drivers. We can see who's got the penalties at the moment, but Bids having a 3-second penalty from track cuts, and then Bren having the 6-second penalty for cutting the track twice, then followed by Nick F1 with that 3-second penalty, followed then by Tyrant King with a 3-second, then FRO Swinney with, I assume again, as I said earlier, a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and track cut. And then we do see Josh Rose running at the top 10 with a 5-second penalty, as we did just witness him speeding in the pit lane, then followed then by Jackie Cabana in the McLaren with the 3-second penalty for track limits, and then Don Fotherington for 6 seconds for track limits too. And then we do see Moon Moody having 12 seconds, which I can only predict is probably a mixture of both speeding in the pit lane and track limits as well. But he does have the most severe penalties so far. But what we do see is going on to Hangar Street. We do see now Finn retaliating with Specky Cabbage for position, as we do see Specky Cabbage going into P7, Finn going into P6. There, Joel Muller's being able to set the fastest lap time of the session of a 127.3, which is going to show us how faster he is going to be compared to the rest of the drivers now, as he's been able to probably create what I believe was about a second or so in terms of the original fastest lap of the session. We do see it's going to be a sector 1 yellow flag. I assume that was going to be something to do with Brand, as he went down quite far into the order. No, he has just came on the pit lane, sorry. But we do see Joel Muller's now up into P4, so he has been able to actually shave that 13-second gap, or however long it was, into just 4 seconds in the span of about 5 laps or so. Well, as we see Josh Rose in the background as well, with P9 trying to take his position away from him. It does seem he leads into the door open. He tries to squeeze him there. Swinny, it wasn't going to work just yet for Josh Rose to try get P9. He does go on to GT start finish straight, where he will have that DRS. It's not going to be too effective for him just yet going through Corpse. He's going to be all over the rear of him though, as he does get that move done quite effectively before Maggots and Beckett's, and he does now wait. If that was going to be a strategic move from Swinny though, we'll have to see, but he has lost actually quite a bit of time, so I'm assuming that strategic move wasn't very strategic, because he has lost too much time for the slipstream to actually take place for him. But we do now see Bids losing his position of P4 for going on to the soft tyres for a second stop of the race, but Joel Muller's on those soft tyres. Now going to have a bit of a challenge behind him of Bids. Well, he's going to be on the soft tyres, but he is still on currently 3 lap old tyres, but we do see Bids will have those 0 lap old tyres, so it's not that much of an advantage between them both, but it is still going to be quite an advantage thinking about it, because we're not sure of how aggressive we have seen Joel using these tyres. $16 laps left to go now, barely a short length race left to go. We do see it's being able to catch up with Tyrant King, but he's not going to be catching up too quickly to him just yet. I think the DRS now is going to be super effective for him going to the end of Stowe, being all over the rear of Tyrant King. Now, is he going to be able to get these 2 positions done before the end of the race? He does go for a lunge going through Vale. He will have the inside line for the first part of it, but we will see there's going to be some retaliation from Tyrant King. No, there is not. He would have had the inside line going through the end of Vale, but it didn't work for him just yet now. But we do go on to the next lap of the race. We do see now this is where we're going to see quite a pace difference between Nick F1 and Joel Mullers, with a 10 lap tyre difference between them both. There is going to be quite a drop off of performance in terms of tyres for Nick F1 there. We can see him in the distance at the end of Hanger Straight compared to Joel Mullers now just entering the end of Hanger Straight now. As well as that, we can see Brand starting to retaliate once again on Kevin for position. Is he going to try and go for the switchback into Hanger Straight? No, he's not. He's just going to go straight for the outside line, gets the move done, but will he have that slipstream and DRS? Yes, he will. He's going to drive past Kevin like it's nothing now, starting to create a bit of a gap for himself going through Luffield. That gap that we were just mentioning as well starting to decrease already, as we now see Joel Muller's getting very, very close to that DRS requirement of a second. He's now 1.7 seconds, needs to shave off about 8 attempts to be within that DRS range, but at the moment he is at progress of actually going to win this race. He's going to be in favor of it as well. If there's a safety car, that will change everything though, as we do also see Bids losing quite a bit of pace at the moment and performance, but we do see now with those new tyres he's going to be able to get past Specky Cabbage onto Hanger Straight with ease. There's going to be no retaliation there from Specky Cabbage. He's not going to be able to do so. The pace of Bids at the moment is really unstoppable with his newer tyres. Now we do see Finn as well, just dropping like dominoes at the moment for Bids. He's now going to be able to put a lot of pressure here on Finn. Can Finn, as it does seem there was a bit of a coast there from Finn almost there, which this is what Finn just wants to try to do, just try retaliate and just try to defend his position as much as he can, go on to hang a straight. This is where we will see Bids getting this position done once and for all, getting the switchback very, very clean from Bids there. But there is going to be a bit of a, I'm not even sure what happened there. Does seem I'm not actually sure entirely what happened there. Bids having a bit of an internet issue, I assume. But he's still ahead. But we do see as well Tyrant King as well in P3. But we do actually see in a few corners now, we have seen John Mullers regain the lead of the race now with just only 10, no, not 10 even laps left to go. There's going to be 12 laps to go. Oh, my mouse. 14 laps left to go. He is able to regain the lead. How well can he regain it though with those tyre differences? So I'm assuming we do see, yeah, Nick F1 going into the pits for new tyres. Brown squeezing Specky Cabbage there once again for position. He's going to be able to regain the position of P6 from Specky Cabbage as well as he goes up, going through Vale. He locks up a tiny bit there. I'm not sure if he got hit. It doesn't seem he did get hit. It just probably overheated the brakes or just slightly bit, and he was locking his brakes. That's going to be a bit of a flat spot and a bit more tyre wear there for Bran in P5. Well as that, we can actually see there's going to be a side-by-side here. Specky Cabbage going to lose another position as well to Josh Rose, as we now see Josh Rose going up into P6 and Specky Cabbage going down to P7. But once again, a bit of retaliation between them both. You already see John Mullers is able to make already a 6-second gap between him and Tyrant King, so that is already quite a significant breathing space, to say the least, for Joel Mullers, which just shows you how good his pit stop schedule actually has been now, as he will end the race with about 16 or so laps to his tyres. I think it's probably going to be more about 19 or so laps where we will see a bit of a drop off in performance for him. But how much of that will it actually be, as we did just see Brandt now regaining P4 from Finn. It's a bit of a lock-up moment there. We're going to see Finn regain it at the moment. We do see him in the mirrors, but it's not going to be enough for him to get past just yet. As seen with the slipstream now, he will be able to push past, but we also see as well DRS for Josh Rhodes. He's able to regain the gap that he created with him and Finn. Now, as we do see Finn under a bit more pressure than he would be, as we do see now Josh Rhodes going side by side with him, going on to GT start finish line. Who will have the DRS? It does seem no one's going to have the DRS indeed, but we do see Josh Rhodes has regained the lead of this battle, going up into P5 now. Will we see him keep that position, or are we going to see the DRS being able to kick in for Finn to use that assist to get past Josh Rose again for P5? 12 laps left of this race. They will be very close with each other until the end of the race, unless anything bad does happen. But it doesn't seem actually Finn's slipstream helped him at all going on to hang a straight. So I'm assuming now Josh Rose's pace is starting to show the actual pace. There is about a 10 lap range between their tyres there. We can see Josh Rose with 6 laps to his tyres, and then we do see Finn's soft tyres with 16 laps to his tyres. So there is quite a significant difference between them both. This is why we're probably seeing Josh Rose being able to start and create a bit of a gap between them both. The pace is going to be a bit different, as we can know. There's going to be places of the track where Finn's going to be better than Josh, but there's going to be places in the track as well where Josh is going to be better than Finn. And this is all factors that you need to play in with it as well. It's down to personal preferences. Track as well. It could be someone's strong track, it could be someone's weak track. That's all just something to keep in with consideration. He loses quite a bit of time there as well now to Nick F1. Nick Kevin is now an 8/10 gap. I'm not sure how much of this slipstream and DRS can save him and this gap between them both. Actually, it's not going to be too much at all. It does seem now Don Farthington does going into the pits to go into the soft tires to probably even try get the new fastest lap of the race with 10 laps left to go. We're about to go into single digits as we do see Joel Mullers going back into the pits. This is an interesting call to say the least. Is it going to be the right call? 10 laps left to go. We do see he's got to drop quite a few positions. He goes down to P7 there. Is this the right call from Joel Mullers as it does go on to those soft tires, going down to P8 now? His chances of winning this race has become slimmer because of that. Is it the right idea though? I'm not too sure just yet. We'll trust the process here with Joel Mullers' idea. But he is now within DRS already with Nick F1 for P7, but he still needs to gain 6 other positions within a 10 lap radius. Can he do it? He has been able to do it before, so I have faith in him, but how long can he actually do it? Because we do see everyone is actually within DRS range of each other as well. Thinking about it almost. So with these tires, is he actually going to be able to regain? This is going to be the strongest component here. For Joel Mullers will be Nick F1 because he is also on the fresher compound of those soft tires. We do see they both get that slipstream and the DRS compared to Specky Cabbage. Specky Cabbage going to lose 2 positions in one straight there. You do now see Joel Mullers going up P7. And actually going to be P6 as he's going to go for the inside line going into Vale. He is going to be able to take it to his advantage. He breaks later and is able to get the move done on Nick F1. There's going to be no retaliation just yet from the Williams driver of Nick F1. But is it going to be like that for the rest of the race? We will see as well going through Farm and Abbey. Now going on to Wellington Straight, which is going to be the longest straight. We could see there's going to be some sort of retaliation from Nick F1 unless we can see Finn provide a good slipstream here for Mullers, sorry, but it does seem, is that going to be the case? No, it isn't. He's just going to be out of DRS range here, but it does seem now Joel Mullers been able to create a safe enough gap between him and Nick F1 where the slipstream won't actually affect him in terms of losing the position. But we do now see Finn is now under pressure from Joel Mullers for position. We have 9 laps left of racing. Can we see him regain this position? We might be able to. Gets the slipstream before Magnus Beckett. Is he going to do it into Magnus Beckett? He does the responsible idea and waits for Hanger Straight as we do see who gets the better line. It does seem to be Joel Mullers. He gets the better exit as well. He will have the DRS as well. He's going to be able to fly past. We already see a gap has been created before the end of Hanger Straight going into the next corner. Does seem it's going to be a bit of a lockup there from him. He doesn't want to be doing that for the rest of the race because that's probably the worst thing you can do. Going through then Stone Vale. You see Nick F1 actually starting to gain a bit of time as well on Finn. Finn being able to just, this is actually going to be very, very good news here for Joel. You do see Nick F1 has been able to regain that position, but because of this, there's going to be retaliation from Finn because of the slipstream and DRS he will be rewarded with as an assist going into Wellington Straight. But we can already see because of that battle that we did see between these two drivers of Finn and JR, how big of a gap that's actually being created between him and Joel. There's now a 2-second gap between them both. How sensitive that gap actually is, which we now see he's fighting with P4. He does not have long to get this move done going through courts. Now he does seem, what happened there? That was very unsafe there from Josh Rose. Josh Rose just slowing down on track there, but that's going to be an easy move done by Joel Mullers going up into P4. Now we do see there's going to be 2 cars in front of him. This is going to be Bram and Bids, both for position if he's going to be able to regain, because these two are going to be battling for position as well. This is going to cause these two to actually regain a lot of time here. But is this actually who we think it is? No, this is going to be a ghosted car, so that is not going to be for position. We do see a car in front is going to be Brando for position. Can he actually get this done? He isn't actually getting much time to the top 3 runners at the moment. we see as well, though Mafandrew, someone we haven't seen too much during this race. It does seem Ivy just letting Mafandrew go for position, going up into P11 at Mafandrew, Ivy going into P12. If that was a strategy call, I'm not too sure. We do now see this is also going to help out John Muller's significantly, as we do see now Bids and Tyrant King both battling for position as we do go on to Woodcott, and now going on to the GT start finish straight where we do see the DRS will play a big place into this. But we did just see as well Brandt losing the position to John Muller, so John Muller's now being on the podium step bronze, but it's not going to help him just yet with only 7 laps left of racing to go. Does seem Bids is going to continue in P2 for now, but we do see the DRS and the slipstream that he has been presented with will put him into the lead of this race. Now Tyrant King wanting to try retaliate, but he has no sort of idea that he can retaliate. We can see as well this is going to be a big solution as well. We can see Tyrant King and Bids being on about 14% to 16% of ERS, as we do see Joe Muller's being using and draining his ERS system a lot to try catch up with these people, as he's now only got about 2% of his ERS left compared to these two drivers. Tyrant King will be under a lot more of a threat compared to Bids, because Bids being on the soft tires, there's only a 6 laps age difference between P1 and P3's tires, but we do see Tyrant King on the 24 old hard tires, which is going to be quite a task to try to keep that in that position. And at the moment he is losing probably about 4 to 5 tenths already going into, wow, he almost just shaved a second going through the Luffield and Woodcott section. Mafandrew has left the session though, so I'm assuming that's going to be a disconnect regarding him, as that will mean his it's going to be him losing quite a few positions because of the AI taking over his car, his AI being significantly more, well, let's just say significantly less skilled than Mafandrew would be able to, and hopefully he can regain control of his car before the end of the race. But we can see now still Joel Muller's leaving this quite late now with only 5 laps left of racing to go. We can see ahead of him Tyrant King is starting to gain quite a bit of time here on, well, Tyrant King being able to lose quite a bit of time to Joel Muller should, because of those 20 lap age different in tires and different compounds as well. Does just show you how much time can be lost because of it. In fact, he is losing so much time there to him. Can we also see him, well, regain the lead as well? It's going to be very close between these three. Mafandrew saying minus 4 laps of fuel. No way you're going to be finishing that race. Oh, that's so unlucky, bro. I am sorry to hear that, my friend. As always, next time, as we do see now as well, John Muller's overtaking the other half of Jay Hartnell for back marker position. As we now see the DRS is going to be present here for Joel Muller's on Tyrant King, as he's going to be all over the back of him going into Vale. Now, is he going to brake later? Yes, he is. He's going to try brake very late, as it does work for him actually, as he goes for the inside line going through Vale, and he gets the move done. Now he has one more position to worry about. He is more focused on the driver ahead than he is to try and, well, keep his position at P2. He wants to try lose that position at P2. Well, he's willing to risk P2 and try to take P1. Currently there's a 2.6 second gap barrier between them both, so we do see that as a very, very sketchy exit there from Joel Muller's, almost losing his car. We do see, has he been able to make a comfortable enough gap? Yes, he has, going into the end of Wellington Straight. Now we do see Tyrant King wasn't able to succeed in catching up. In fact, he only gained a 10th with the DRS system now, with only 4 laps left of racing. How much can we see Joel Muller's catching for the end of the race. At the moment, he is gaining quite a significant amount of time. He might actually be able to do this. .7 seconds between them both now. Locks up going through Vale. That's not going to be very good for his tyres at all. Biggs getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is going to leave him very, very vulnerable here. Now he's getting a 9-second penalty. I've only just realised that he's got 9 seconds of penalty. This is going to lead John Muller to actually win this race under penalties, but I reckon his goal is to actually try to win this race. Well, normally, but even if he gets a 3-second time penalty, he will still take the win of this race, because we can see how many people actually behind him, P3 all the way to P7, at least have a 3-second time penalty, some being more severe than others. But practically the majority of the grid, only it seems to be, wow, only 4 cars haven't got penalties this race, which just shows you how easy it is to either cut or speed in pit lane here today, as we haven't actually seen a safety car during this race, which I'm more shocked about to say anything here. Do you see this is going to be the final leg here for Bids? He's going to have to try to defend for his life here. In terms of ERS, now we do see there's 2% here for the Ferrari, and there's going to be 19% for Bids, but how much is that actually going to matter with that 9-second penalty? We do see now this is going to be it all going on to Hanger Straight. He is just going to glide past through the DRS, and Joe Muller regains the lead for the Ferrari for his debut race here as he goes back into pits. I'm not sure why he's come into pits, and he's gotten a 5-second penalty as he's retired from the session. What's happened here then? Joe Muller's having the race of his life just to be shattered in within moments as he goes into the pits and retires from the session. What happened there? I'm genuinely just as shocked as probably some of the other people are. His debut race was almost going to be a 100% win ratio, just to be dropped by a retirement. That wasn't even a disqualification. That was a retirement from the race. If that was a mechanical retirement or if that was just he retired himself, I'm not too sure. I'd actually really love to know that, if anyone knows. Finn now getting the fastest lap of the race with a 126.6. It's starting to creep down now. 2 laps left of this race. It does seem it's going to be a comfortable win here for one of these drivers who haven't got that many penalties. It could potentially be Kevin who could win this race. I'm not too sure at the moment. They all have too many penalties to actually know who could win this race, but provisionally so far it could be Mr. Bids who will cross the line first. That doesn't necessarily mean he will win this race. With those 9-second of penalties he will receive, unless he can actually create a 9-second gap in the next 2 laps here. That might be his goal here with his soft tyres. He's approaching the 7-second mark, so he could potentially still take... Oh, actually, no, he could potentially still win this race, actually thinking of this now. Yeah, just trying to think of that. He actually could still win this race with that 3-second penalty that Tyrant King actually has. So none of this actually could matter here for Bids. He will intentionally try to get a 9-second gap between them both, just for safety, I'd assume. But with those 3 seconds and 6-second penalties he can see behind him, I'm not sure how much that will actually count. Taylor saying he does that on purpose sometimes when he races a race he reserves in. Why? That's my question. Why? Why didn't you just win the race like a normal person would? Why go through all of the effort of an entire 100% race for the last 2 laps just to... you know what? He does him. If he wants to do that, he can do that. But I think most people would be happy with winning the race. So do you see 5 people have retired from the session since the start of this race now, leaving us with 14 cars left. So we go on to the penultimate lap now, going through Hanger Straight for the penultimate time. We do see there's actually a position change once again. I think everyone's been asking them that, to be honest, probably after that. But I probably will ask why he does that. That's quite an actual, probably valid question to ask him. I hope you're doing well, Taylor. Good to see you. Going on to the final lap of this race now. We do see he only needs about 7/10 here. Missed the bids. Because of the penalties he does see behind him, he might be able to still win this race, even with the penalties applied, because Kevin, the next car, he doesn't have any sort of penalty with a 15-second gap between him and P6, so it could be on 4 bids to win this race. Here, going on to the final time going through Luffield, he is still actually gaining a tiny bit of time if he's going to try go for the fastest lap of the race. I'm not too sure. It doesn't seem to be the most tidy of laps just yet for him. Go through the GT start finish straight for the final time of the race. Through corps. No one is battling for a last minute battle. We haven't, I'm not going to jinx, actually I will jinx it if it does happen. We have not seen a safety car for this entire race, which is going to be a first for us for the FRL 100% series. Oh, there was a sector 2 caution here. I might have just jinxed it here, but it does seem it is still staying green. But for the moment, going through the final few corners, going on to Vale, he is going to come across the line to potentially take the win here for round 9 of the FRL 100% calendar. Taking us up to May, he does take the leads and he takes pole position. If it's going to be provisional, we'll have to find out until the rest of the grid takes the line, as we do now see Brand takes the line as well, actually, but bids will stay in P1 net to take another win for him during the FRL 100% series. We do see Nick F1 then as well, followed then by Specky Cabbage in the Alpine, as well as finished by Finn in the Alfa Romeo, finishing in P7. Quite a big gap between P6 and P7. This does usually happen in the variety of paces you see in these lobbies. Then followed by the 2 Alpha Taris, Jackie Gabbana going through Magnus Beckett for the final time for him. Just see that there's going to be quite a big gap here between these drivers here, as we do see Swinney getting a 5-second penalty for unserved penalty. So that's going to be another penalty added on top of his. But in terms of penalties applied as well, we do see Bidge was able to win the race with a 5-second gap between him and P2. So we do now see Jackie Gabbana coming across the line to take P10 for round 9, followed then as well by what seems to be Don Fotherington being able to take P12, as we do see Jackie Gabbana having to take P11 with penalties. Now, as we do see Don Fotherington coming across the line to be the final one to finish this race here tonight. And that has been round 9 for the FRL 100% season. Taking us up until May, we do see Tarrant King getting the driver of the day. I would have personally said it would have been Joel, but that it's all down to what the game thinks of it. So do now see that will be the end of today's race. We will just quickly look at the calendar, as we do only see there's going to be 3 races left of the season, now being round 10, round 11 and round 12. The next round taking place on the 27th of April, next Saturday, being at Hungary in Budapest, followed then by the final 2 races, also known as the penultimate race, on the 4th of May at Austria in Spielberg for the Red Bull Ring, and then the final race of the championship here for the FRL 100% season 10 calendar at Spain, Barcelona, being the entire calendar for today's, well, not today's, this year's F1 100% season. It might happen again towards the end of the year, but I'm not too sure just yet. I have been your commentator, Aces, also known as Alex Newman. I will be here for next race for round 10 to go into the double digits of the rounds. But for then, I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your weekend. And I hope to see you for next week's race. See you in a bit.